In this video, I'm going to talk about outbound prospecting and how to systematize the process to make it as effortless as possible for your sales reps. I'm going to talk about how we can help salespeople identify better targets, streamline their workflow so that they can log more activity and provide fast access to the information they need to make their messages more relevant and effective. Helping your reps log more and better activity with better prospects should ultimately result in more pipeline, more revenue, and ideally, better customers with more lifetime customer value. So how do we do this? Let's start by asking ourselves where sales time is best spent. It's pretty obvious that if our salespeople spent all day speaking to the right prospects and doing the right research to make those calls as effective as possible, we'd hit our sales goals. Unfortunately, according to research by InsideSales.com, on average, only 30% of sales reps' time is spent on actual sales activities. What's the other 2/3 of their time spent on? A tremendous amount of time is spent on activities that are usually not the most efficient or best use of your sales rep's time. Sales reps spend an incredible amount of time just hunting for information, whether it's somewhere in the company's CRM or proprietary data, or something they need to research externally. If they're building call lists, for example, they're spending a good chunk of their time researching prospects and then often manually typing that data into the CRM and cleaning up the mess of data that was in there before. Then, after all this effort, they walk in every day and have to figure out who they need to call and then do further research on each prospect to form their messaging. Once they're ready to dial, they of course have to actually dial the number or send the email, and in high volume environments, this can actually eat up a lot of time that's worth addressing. So how can we save our salespeople time and make them more effective all at the same time? First and foremost, as I said, you want to make the process as effortless as possible. Inertia is a powerful force. If your sales reps can walk in the door, turn on their computer, and immediately see who they need to call with all the relevant information they need at their fingertips, then productivity can skyrocket. To do this, we first need to clearly define our targets. We should have a strong understanding of our ideal customer profile, which I've gone over in other videos. And someone, whether it's an internal revenue operations person or an external consultant like Union Square Consulting, should pore over the data to identify this list. What specific data points define our ideal customer? For example, firmographic data like the industry, revenue, and headcount. Technographic data that shows the technology they're using that might be relevant to what we're selling. Or intent data that indicates who has interest and intent to buy a product or service similar to the one that we're offering. And of course, our own marketing data to show who's visited our website and shown real interest by clicking through the relevant pages. This is quite an undertaking for your average salesperson, and it's always amazed me that most sales organizations think their expensive salespeople are the best folks to do this data science work. Once these targets are identified, you can import or integrate all the relevant data into Salesforce, assign the territories and accounts clearly, and provide one-click access to external data that helps reps research accounts before picking up the phone or writing an email. Your revenue operations team or external consultant can handle all of this and do it quickly and efficiently with advanced import and integration tools. Or again, you can have your most expensive employees, your salespeople, fumbling through this on their own. I did this in every sales job I ever had until I got to Salesforce. It's how I learned the Salesforce application, and then suddenly, when I became an employee of Salesforce, one of their sales reps, all of this was taken off my plate. We had really smart people carefully analyzing our data, our customer base, updating the information in our instance of Salesforce, and handing us lists of people to call. And since all our customer data was housed in our instance of Salesforce, I could easily see every marketing email, every white paper download, every past won or lost opportunity, and every customer service case. This put a huge chunk of selling time back into my day and gave me the intel I needed to have more effective calls, emails, and meetings. And this is the reason you see Salesforce quotas and performance per rep so much higher than many other companies. And working with our top performing customers, almost all of them were doing this, some of them even better than Salesforce. And this ultimately needs to result in a streamlined system to execute. If your outbound sales activity target is low, it can be as simple as having a report or a list view in Salesforce with all the right targets and relevant information to call down. However, if your sales activity target is high, you might want to look at dedicated prospecting tools like Salesforce's High Velocity Sales, Outreach, or SalesLoft, and/or dialers like Salesforce's Lightning Dialer. Either way, what's important is to make the process as effortless as possible. Again, if your sales reps can fire up their computer and know exactly who they need to call and have quick access to information they need to research the account, they can log more activity and better activity, resulting in more meetings, more pipeline, and more revenue. If your revenue operations team or consultant has done a good job of mapping out your ideal customer profile and matching that to your target list, then you should not only see more revenue, but you should also see less churn, faster sales cycles, higher average sales price, lower cost of acquisition, and more lifetime customer value from these customers that you're winning over. That right there can dramatically improve your results. But let's touch on prospecting tools briefly because they've become so popular and so commonly used among high-performing outbound sales teams. As I mentioned, there are a few leading contenders: Salesforce's High Velocity Sales, Outreach, and SalesLoft. These tools are most relevant if your outbound process involves a sequence or cadence of outreach that spans multiple touch points at defined intervals. For example, let's say that you create a list of folks in a certain industry and a certain role, and you want to give them a call on the first day. Then you want to wait 3 days and send them an email if they haven't called you back by then. Then you wait another 5 days for a response, and if you still haven't heard anything back, you send them a message on LinkedIn. This process continues until you've reached out to them enough that you feel it's appropriate to move on to other prospects. Inside one of these tools, you would create a cadence or a sequence outlining each of these steps, and you could include email templates, call scripts, or even pre-recorded voicemails. Then, as your reps are working these lists, they can get quick access to the information in Salesforce, as well as to external info like the website, LinkedIn, etc., all in just one click so they can do their account research. From there, they can use the email template but personalize it before sending it out with much better and more relevant information. The main benefit here is that this makes it about as effortless as it can get. Even if you have multiple sequences or cadences with different steps, all started on different days for different prospects, the tool will organize it all and present you a nice clean playlist for your reps to work each day. They come in, effectively hit the play button, and the first contact pops up. When they've completed that activity, the next contact pops up automatically with all the relevant information that you have in your CRM and elsewhere. This saves a tremendous amount of time and helps your reps focus on doing what they do best: researching accounts, personalizing their outreach, and actually speaking with prospects. I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to learn more, reach out to me directly to set up a meeting, or check out some of our other videos on our website, LinkedIn, or YouTube.